My name is Melissa Fry, author, editor, course creator, and lover of stories. Today, I want to talk about a tool that I use to track my writing and editing progress. It's a really fun way to keep myself on task and actually reach the deadlines that I've set for myself. Whether I'm editing for someone else or for myself, or I'm just working to get my first draft of my novel done, this is just a great way to track it. And it's super, super simple. And the best part is, too, it's free. So you don't have to spend any money for this. It's something that's widely available to everyone. So, you ready? We're going to talk about Google Sheets. Okay, so spreadsheets are my jam. It's probably left over from the days that I was an accountant and I fell in love with spreadsheets because they have so much functionality. There's so much you can do with them. And I like to use them even just for the simple stuff because you can set formulas and get things to add and really just be able to see your progress if we're using it in the way we're going to use it today. So I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to set up a Google Sheets document so that you can see how I use it to track it, but there's no right way. You can use whatever works for you. You can set formulas up so it can calculate how much, you do your word count and how much, you can set up formulas or you don't have to. I'll give you little tips and tricks so that you don't have to type out every single thing. You'll see what I mean when we get there, but I'll give you a tutorial. But I first just wanted to talk to you about just the benefits of it because it's a really great tool. Like I said, it's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. You just go on Google Sheets, sign up for an account. You probably already have a Google account and set up a new sheet in a workbook so that you can go through and use it for this and track your progress. Like I said before, this really helps me stay focused and stick to my deadline. I have a lot of ambitious writing goals for the new year and editing goals too. I am setting myself some deadlines and I know that I will not reach those unless I'm focused and I'm tracking these things because they say that what gets measured gets done. So if you're tracking your progress, you actually have a much better chance of reaching your goal than if you're just doing it whenever, whatever. So I tend to use word count. That's just what works for me. Sometimes you can use page numbers. Sometimes on editing projects, I'll do it that way. Or you can use chapter count, whatever works for you, however you like to check those boxes. It's completely up to you. So whatever makes the most sense. Okay, so I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how to do it and I'll talk you through it.
So you just go to google.com/sheets, or you can Google it, and you should be able to find how to create a new worksheet. So that's where I am right now. I'm in a new worksheet. I've entitled it Writing/Editing Tracker because I use it, like I said in the video, I use it for tracking my writing progress and also editing progress. So I basically set this up with the date that I'm doing the work here. And then I'll set up the title. So if it's my book or if it's an editing project I'm working on, I'll do that. Sometimes I'll add in the author if it's an editing project. And then I just set it up start, end, and goal. Now there's a couple different ways you can set this up. You can set this to calculate if you would like to. So I'm just going to walk through the simplest version here, and then if we have some time, we'll talk about some alternate options. But all right, so I start with time. I like to track it by the hour. That makes the most sense to me. And then I'm not having to constantly be looking at the clock and seeing what time it is. So I have the 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Now, one fun thing about most spreadsheet programs is if you highlight, click and drag and highlight both, and then this little blue box in the bottom, it will actually populate based on the format you're already using. So if you see, it'll actually go 11, 12, 1. So I don't have to type them all in. It's a really nice feature. I don't think I'll be writing until 1 a.m. however, so I'm just going to delete some of these. We'll go to there. Well, we'll do 9 o'clock so I can, have some time to cool down before I go to bed. You can do 9 a.m. and then it'll format for you. You can also do this in Excel or Numbers, depending on what operating system you have. But Google Sheets works just as well, and if you don't have access to either of those, this is a free program that you can use, and it's internet-based, so you can access it really anywhere. Anyway, so here you go. So you set up 9 a.m. My word count, I've already made a little progress in this book. Of course, this is a fictional book, but I've already made a little progress and I have 3,500 words already. So I'm going to set myself a goal of 500 words an hour. So that's why you see this goal here of 4,000. So I start at 3,500, sometime in the 9 o'clock hour, ideally right at 9 o'clock, but if it's 9:05, make yourself a goal. Then when I get to 10 a.m., and I just take a brief second around 10 a.m., and now, of course, I'm not watching the clock. Oh no, it's 10 a.m., I have to record. I actually go in and if I catch it at 10:02 or something, I'm like, okay, so where's my word count? All right, I am at 3,900. Okay, I didn't quite reach my goal, but that's okay. I can either adjust my goal based on that, or I can just try to make up the time next time. Because sometimes when you're writing, it's a little simpler. Sometimes words come easier, sometimes in certain scenes, and then the words come more difficult. So it's okay to have some variation here. One way you can start this at the beginning of the day is to just write in your 500 an hour word count goal and just carry it over. So you click and hold and select these two, use the blue drag down and go here. And now you'll actually, if you stay on track for the whole day, you'll actually hit 10,000 words for your entire document, not for the day. However, this does not account for if you want to take a break, or you need to eat lunch or make lunch, or if you need to run and pick your kids up from school. You need to account for those things. So say you're going to pick your kids up at 4, and I don't have kids, so that may not be accurate. But I'm going to say for the 4 o'clock hour, I'm not going to write anything. It gives me an hour. Okay, so then you just want to adjust based on the rest of the day. Now, if you need maybe 2 hours to say, okay, I need to get my kids home and get them started on their homework and make them dinner and get dinner done, you'll account for 2 hours. And basically you can see from 3, the end of the 3 o'clock hour, which is basically at 4 o'clock, and then at the end of the 5 o'clock hour, you're still at 7,000. You haven't made any progress. Now, I wouldn't recommend trying to do 1,500 in an hour if that's not something you can do. So I would just restart this and give yourself actual goals, achievable goals. And I'll talk about that in a minute when we get back to the video. But so you want to make it realistic. Now, if you need, if you think maybe, okay, I'm not going to set in a lunch break here, but I think I can do more than 500 and kind of catch up. And I'll talk about this too, but you can actually just work ahead. So I'll say, well, I start here at 3,900 because that's this end for the 1 hour is the beginning for the previous. Of course, that makes sense for the next hour. But if I start here at 3,900, maybe I can get to 4,600. So that's 700 words in an hour. It's pretty quick, but it depends on how fast you type, how fast you can think. And a lot of people will say if you get stuck up on something, just put like little brackets around it or make a note to yourself. I personally write in pages, and I like to make a bookmark. It's a really simple way, and I can go and access all of my bookmarks, and I can actually change the name of them and leave myself a note. So that's how I kind of work through stuff that I know, I got to get back and work on this, but I don't want to deal with it right now when I'm trying to just get the thing on paper. So anyway, I start with 4,600. Maybe I get to 5,300 because I'm in a really good scene that's going really well. And then I start at 5,300 here, and I actually make it to 6,000. Cool. I basically just bought myself an hour because I can say 6,000 here, and if I make no progress in the hour, I'm still on track. See what I mean here? So the 6,000. So if you're able to catch up your time and say, hey, this is something I can actually achieve, you can give yourself an hour lunch break. Or you could work ahead and just keep making progress. And then if you make so much progress, oh, that's not how I do it, 6,800 here, and then 7,400. Okay. And then 7,400. I'm not using my own thing here. 8,000. So you can see we're already like 1,000 ahead. So that gives you an extra hour down here. Or 2 hours, extra 2 hours actually. So just set it up how you want to do it. And as you do this, you'll learn more about how much time it takes you to do things. Like, for example, if you're editing, it may be a little bit different. You may actually want to track pages instead of word count. So, and I mean, that's not a complicated thing. So one thing to do here is you can see how I set this up with word count. This is my starting word count. This is my ending word count. Hopefully, well, actually, this will be my actual ending word count. So say we had 8,000 here, or we did some more work here. We started at 8,000 and we wanted to get ahead of ourselves and we really were into the scene. So we start at 9,000, slowing down a little bit. We're getting a little tired. And then we get to actually 10,000. So that's our actual ending title. But if you want to figure out how many words you actually wrote, it's a really simple formula. And formulas can always be done by hitting the equal sign. And it'll give you some suggestions usually, or you can just do a simple formula. So if I want to do here, which is my ending word count, and then a minus my beginning word count, which is here, then it'll give me how many words I wrote for the day. And you can label that if you'd like, word count for the day. Yeah, it won't show up. But anyway, so you get the idea. You can always like adjust the size here so it'll show up a little bit better. You can wrap the text so you can see it in the whole, so anyway, however you want to format it. Don't total these columns because it won't work, because if you sum them up, and just by clicking and holding and selecting the entire thing, you can see down here, down at the bottom right, the sum is 70,000. You didn't write 70,000 words, so that's not going to be a helpful formula for you, but just this simple subtraction gives you your word count for the day. So anyway, so that's how the simplest way to track. Just it gets you started, it gets you going, and it's a way to help you stay on track and stay focused so you can get your 6,500 words for the day. Now, I'm going to delete most of this and we're going to try something different. I'm going to add a column. So if I click on here and I basically, I think it's right click, which is, yeah, if you right click, insert a column. So insert one to the left. And then I'm going to enter word count. So, and yes, this is all word count, but say I start at 3,500 and I end at 4,000. And I've still got my goal over in this column, so you can kind of see where I'm on track. But if I want to calculate how many words I've actually written in the day and have it automatically calculate for me, I can just do a formula here, hit equals this box here, C3, minus B3, and hit enter, which will give me my word count of 500. So if I carry this formula down, now the same thing that we used here, where you have this little blue box in the corner and you use the plus sign, if you drag this down, this formula will carry no matter what you do. So if I have 4,000 here, it's a negative 4,000, that's not helpful, but at the end of the day, or end of the hour, I do 4,200, it's going to add 200. Now I can actually sum up this entire column and put a parenthesis. So it's equal sum, start parentheses, and then the range that you want to sum, and then in parentheses, hit enter. And 700, so that's my 700 word count for the day. So if I had basically what I had before, this is just an added step that it calculates for you instead of you having to do that calculation at the end. If you want to really stay focused and see, okay, I actually wrote 500 this hour, or 200, or I wrote 1,000, or whatever it is, it's a little bit easier way to do it. So that's also an option if you want to get a little bit more into the formulas. All right, so what I'm going to do now is show you how it works with chapters. I mean, you're intelligent people, you get it. But if I start at chapter 1, or just 0, I guess, and I end at chapter 3, usually this is for editing, and we're going to just get rid of the 1,000 numbers because that's not very helpful. Let's say I want to end at chapter 3, and then 6, and then 9, and then 12, and then I'm going to stay at 12 again so I can eat lunch, and then 15, and 18, 21, just basically however you want to set this up. And we're just going to carry this through, see how far we can get if we stay on track. Although, we're going to want to eat dinner at, say 6 o'clock, so that'll be 24 and then 27, 30, 33. Oh, typed it wrong. 33. All right, so it's the same exact concept. Start with chapter 3, and then you go through chapter 7. So you actually did 4 instead of 3. You're above your goal. Same concept. Now, I don't technically do chapters a lot, but sometimes I will do page number if I'm editing especially, and especially if I'm editing for someone else, because page number is an easier way to track than word count. So I'm not having to, if you're writing, word count, probably easier, but if you're trying to edit, page number might be your best bet. So say I started at page 15. I want to get 10 pages. Well, 10 pages might be a lot, but man, let's say 5, just for the sake of argument. So my goal is going to be 20, and then 25, and then 30, and you get the point. I mean, you just save yourself time for lunch, 35, 40, all that. And then you just add it in. I start at page 20, or maybe you start at page 21 because you ended at the end of page 20, so now you're starting page 21. So anyway, and then I get to page 26. I start at page 26, I'm in the middle. I get to page 33, so you get the point. And then it calculates your word count. You've got your goals in once you expand it through the whole day. And then you can actually see if you are on track, you might get up to 50, 55 pages done in a day. So this is a really helpful way to help you stay on track. All right, I hope you learned a lot.
That's it. It's really simple, right? But it's a really powerful tool. It's not super complicated, like I said, but it really will help you stay focused and on track. And I actually find that setting up this structure to work within is actually really advantageous for me, and it really gets the job done. A couple of notes here is to make sure that you're being realistic. If you get up first thing and start writing, you might need to shower, so work in some time for that later. I like to actually work ahead, or maybe I have a goal of 500 words and I get that done and I still have 15 minutes left in the hour. Well, that means I've got 15 minutes to take a break, get a snack, use the restroom, whatever, and then I'm still on track. Or if I know, hey, I want like an hour off to eat lunch and I can even watch a show to reward myself or whatever, if I want some time off, I'll actually work ahead and I'll do 800 words an hour instead of the 500, and then I'll actually kind of collect all that extra goodness, and then I'll get ahead of my goal. And then so when I catch up to it, then I'll be able to start, and I'll give myself an extra hour. Hope that made sense. Anyway, you kind of get the idea. And the best thing is this ties right into SMART goals, and how they say that the best way to achieve your goals is to use this acronym and make sure that your goals have these qualities. So this method is actually specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and it's time-based. So it checks all of the boxes, which is probably why it's so effective. I really want to know if it works for you. I want to see if there's different ways that you found it to work for you. That would be really fun too, because of course I just have my one limited view. You probably have a different way to do it. So if you try it and it works for you, please let me know. I would love to see. All right, my name is Melissa Fry, author, editor, course creator, lover of stories, and a grandmother. I'll see you next Friday.